Yeah, I'm Tatjana Tchumatchenko. I recently became a professor for computational neuroscience of behavior at the University of Bonn. And I also hold the Max Planck Research Group Theory of Neurodynamics at the Max Planck Institute until the middle of this year. I'm a physicist by training, and then I switched to working in neuroscience.
And what is your current location and your research topics?
Yeah, my current location is really between Frankfurt and Bonn. And my current research topics are neural networks. I have been doing that for a couple of years now. We are interested in the broad question of how neural networks in our brain make sure that we can see, sense, touch, hear, that we can function as human beings. How does it actually work on a cellular level? This is something that people have been addressing for a long time. I think now we have the experimental tools and the mathematical tools to really make it happen.
Yeah, thank you. And do you have any membership in German or Ukrainian organizations?
Yes, that's the German Ukrainian Academic Society in Germany. I'm part of that. I think a number of people who emigrated from Ukraine are also part of it and want to make it a success, obviously, for our members.
And let's now talk a little bit more about your academic life in Ukraine. Did you study in Ukraine, and if yes, then in which university?
Yeah, I really don't have much of an academic life in Ukraine because I immigrated as a child to Germany, and I went through the German school system, and then I continued my academic education at the German university. So I was never affiliated with any Ukrainian higher academic institution, university. So unfortunately, I can't name one.
Yeah, but then in Germany, in which university you were and what did you study there?
Yeah. I studied physics at the University of Darmstadt. It's a technical university specializing in industrial applications. They have a strong computational focus, and also the physics department is quite strong there. And that's why I obtained my diploma thesis, diploma in physics, and then I moved on to Göttingen to graduate a couple of years later with a PhD in computational neuroscience. So I transitioned from a pure physics background to computational neuroscience during my PhD. And then I was a postdoc for a couple of years in the US at the University of Columbia, where I had a Volkswagen fellowship that supported me during this particular period. And then about 2 years after I completed my PhD, I had the opportunity to start my independent Max Planck research group. And that's something that I have been doing for the last almost 8 years now. Wow, that's a long time, almost 8 years. And then I transitioned to becoming a professor at the University of Bonn.
And do you have any experience in industrial? Because as I understood, you're working only as a researcher.
Yes, that's right. I really don't have much industrial experience. I guess the only industrial experience that I can name off was working in banks and insurance companies as I was a student, earning money. It was a quite interesting and also teaching experience. But after that, I decided my soul is really with something academic.
And do you maybe did any startup or business open to lab? No?
Unfortunately not. Maybe that's something I might want to do in the future, but as of now, I have never really worked as a professional academic inside an industry. I have some industry context from my old days in banking and insurance, but I'm really very much focused on the academic education, teaching students, doing research.
And what are current academic achievements?
My current academic achievements are, I recently got the ERC starting grant. That's a competitive grant that I think very few young researchers have the opportunity to get. So I was very fortunate in that. And there are a number of research grants from the German Research Foundation, from the Volkswagen Foundation that supported my postdoctoral stay. So those are the major grants sponsored by the German foundations.
maybe which advices can you give to the young scientists who, for example, in Ukraine or here in Germany, but they want to go to this research scientific field?
My long-term advice would be to find out what is the topic that you would enjoy working on the most. Like, what are the tools and the questions that you want to work with in everyday life. So even if your academic life might be short, let's say you decide you want to work in academia afterwards, in industry afterwards, what is it that you would be most passionate about? Even if it fails, what is the stuff that you enjoy doing? And try and really research that question as well as you can, and then go for that. It can be medicine, it can be mathematics, computer science, whatever it is. Where do you want to put in your time? That's the question that I would ask myself as a student. And then there are a number of programs that are now open to students. There are some European programs such as Erasmus. There are private foundations that sponsor studies. There are many opportunities. I'm sure the internet will be your friend in researching those, and then try to find the place that you like the most, that has the most vibrant student life, or the type of life that you like for yourself. And then go for that place, maybe a university or a smaller academic center, and then try to find mentors that will be providing you advice that you can use in your decision making.
Do you have any projects between Germany and Ukraine?
Currently, no. I have had younger students and postdocs in my group who were from Ukraine or who are from Ukraine. This is something that I really cherished. But currently I'm recruiting worldwide. So I'm happy to take students from Ukraine, but also from any other country. Sometimes I know that people who don't grow up in the English language as a native language, they have maybe a harder time accessing the information in the academic world. So I would think it's really rewarding if you look up the topics that you are interested in, and then find the right institutions that are working on those topics, and then go from there. And I think the language skills will come along as you embark on the journey.
Do you have any cooperations between your lab and Ukrainian labs or universities?
Since computational neuroscience, so the short answer is unfortunately no, but if there are people interested in, I'm happy to explore opportunities. In computational neuroscience, most labs are located in the US and Europe, like Western Europe. That's the focus of our research. We have also collaborations with Japan. And in principle, we are open to any scientist. We are a theoretical group, which means that we mostly collaborate with experimentalists who are sharing their data with us and want to develop theories. So if there are any experimental collaborators or soon to be collaborators in Ukraine, I'm happy to think about common projects, but so far, no.
Okay. Yeah, thank you a lot. The problem is that mostly all the questions were about relocation and academic life in Germany if you lived for a lot of time in Ukraine. So I think for this point of time, we have to end our interview. But it was also interesting, and very thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure there are many people who emigrate at different points in time to Germany, and I'm one of the younger ones, so to say, in that respect. And then there are people who do a PhD or postdoc or even a professor. Yeah.
But at which age did you move to Germany?
12. So,
and was it hard for you to study in the school?
I would say yes. But obviously, in the end, it worked out, right? But as you embark on the journey, you don't know if it will be successful or not. That's why it's hard. I came when I spoke very little German, and I went through the Sonderschule, through the Realschule, and then to Abitur, and then was able to study. But yeah, for people who enter from Ukraine or from any other country, learning the language is something that's really important. So you can't enter a normal German school system unless you speak German, which you can't do unless you enter the German school system. So there's a bit of a catch-22 problem. But yeah, in the end, yeah, it worked out.
Okay, thank you a lot.